Let's record this shit. It's not very well lit. It helps a little bit. Let's move it this way. Wait, close the door. Is that okay? I think so. Okay, get set up with my things. Ooh-hoo, ooh-hoo, ooh-hoo. We're back. We're back. Hello. Hello, 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 hello. Oh, it's open up the voice. Let's open up the voice. I need to write one note here. We have a note. Oh, amazing. Hello, 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 world. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to my friend. I've got a very, very busy day today, like I have had for the past 6 days so far, I think. So it's absolute craziness. However, I felt compelled to enter my cupboard to come and talk to you, my friend. It felt like a very important thing for me to do today because my brain is frazzled. Last night I was getting very frustrated because there's just a million thoughts going through my brain, and this is just such a fantastic outlet. This really has become a form of my therapy. So thank you for being here with me and allowing me to talk to you. Talking is one of the most lovely things in this world. So welcome, let's crack on. Today, what we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about AK. I just started with a new client about a week ago, and again, it occurred to me that not everyone understands the basic principles of nutrition. So today we're going to go through nutrition ABC 1, 2, 3 essentials so that you will know. It's very important for me as my friend that you have a superficial understanding, at least, of nutrition and how that works in terms of body composition, as in your body weight, shit like that. Although that's not the focal point. We're not really going to be talking about body weight. We're going to bypass it a little bit just to see how, with nutrition, how you can get a deep understanding of what determines what kind of body weight you are at, basically. The question, what was today's question? So I chose one. It's to do with what I would do if money wasn't an object, which I think is a pretty fabulous question. If you have any questions for me, anything at all, please email them to hello@erikahelsinki.com. I would really, really, really highly appreciate that. I would love to answer your questions live on air, like right now. That'd be amazing. You can also answer these questions that I answer in the in the last section of the podcast. You can answer all these questions yourself as well if you just follow the link in the show notes. I have created a website /form/ whatever it is where you've got a chance to give me your answers. I absolutely love reading your input so that we can form a deeper, more meaningful connection between you and me. So thank you very much. If you do get a spare minute, please do follow that link and give us your stuff. Today, I'm very excited. It's been a long time coming. I'm finally going to see my boy, what would it be? I think, I'd probably now call him a sports injury specialist. He does like combination therapy, including Theraguns, cupping, acupuncture, deep tissue massage, all sorts of stuff. I believe he treats a lot of professional athletes, so that's the place for me to go. So basically, my body has been in bits since January with my knee injury, and following from that, back problems. I'm sick of taking painkillers. I haven't actually really been taking them now, but there's still niggles, there's problems. So I can't wait for him to look at that and give me 60 minutes of undivided attention, which will be very, very, very welcomed. And I can't wait to hopefully feel a bit lighter, like movement is a little bit easier afterwards. That has been my experience in the past. And if you live in the Northeast, or if you want to travel to the Northeast from wherever you are, I believe actually I had a look at the stats. There's people in the United States listening to this, which is quite fabulous. Thank you. And all over Europe. We've got Finland, we've got Spain, we've got Germany, we've got different spots, multiple spots in England, and very grateful to you tuning in. That's just unbelievable. Remember to share this with a friend if you do find it useful. Would really, really highly appreciate it. So my friend here in the Northeast is called Mark Poolen. He runs, it's called MSK something. It's a clinic in Westerhope, maybe? I might be wrong, but shoot me a message if I forget to post the link in the show notes. But he's a very good guy to go and see if you've got any bodily problems. And what else? In the past few days have been very much involving a lot of eating. I've been eating out quite a lot. I found it quite peculiar how within a 24-hour period I literally had a burger for lunch with a friend, and then dinner was barbecue, another barbecue, and then the next day's brunch was this sort of beautiful charcuterie. I don't know how to say it. Charcuterie, maybe, cheeses and dry cured meats and just beautiful stuff that was served at Mother Mercy at the lower ground floor of Phoenix. It's not a shopping centre. What's it called? Phoenix department store in Newcastle. Where, before I go into the networking event that I've attended there yesterday, I'm going to talk about something that gets me really, really, really excited. I have had a plumber around, and he said I wasn't sure if the plumbing's there or whatever, I can indeed finally acquire a dishwasher. You don't know how happy that makes me. I am fucking psyched. I have had enough of having 2 children, having people around for barbecues. I love that. I would not change that for anything. But the dishes afterwards are doing my life in. I spend far too long just making food, then doing the dishes in the morning, doing the dishes during the day, doing the dishes at night, and I've had enough. So now I've decided to acquire a new dishwasher, which is going to be fabulous. Hopefully I can get that sorted as soon as possible, so I will free up a bit of time. I think I really need to, especially now, focus on creating space and time in my life, because there's a lot of fun, there's a lot of things going on, and I just want to make sure that I'm giving my time to the things that matter the most, that actually contribute to my life, that actually give me a bit of joy and satisfaction. So I'm going to go with that, and I cannot wait to get. And I'm sure this is one of the most interesting topics for you to listen to about, but it's going to be a very meaningful thing for me. And this is what friends talk about, right? Stuff that is important to them. Okay, let's go into where I had my brunch yesterday. I attended my first ever networking event. I've always felt really, I don't know, not nervous, but just overwhelmed with the thought of ever even attending one. And this was organised by my friend. So I just felt like, let's go. Let's just give it a go, try it out. I've got nothing to lose. And I have to say, at the end of it, my social battery, my extroversion battery was very well drained. I started feeling really brain foggy and just like I've just had enough of human connection for today, and it really showed when I got back home. So I was exhausted. That's me being about 50% extrovert, 50% introvert in this Myers-Briggs questionnaire scale, which I've done multiple times over the years in different languages, which, by the way, interestingly gives different answers as well. So if I do it in one sitting, I do it in English first, and then in Finnish, I will get a different personality description. Which is very, very, very interesting, but also the way the questions are worded do imply slightly different things. So that's good. But yeah, I felt like I have had a lot of reflection points afterwards from this networking event, because I kind of really had to think about how I present myself what I tell people about myself, because it becomes a very monotonous, boring thing when all you talk about is, this is what I do, and it's just like the same story over and over again, which obviously is a very relevant aspect of this, when it is all to do with potentially being able to help yourselves out in the future, maybe collaborating or whatever. And that wasn't my intention at all, actually, at all. My expectation was just to meet new people, not even meet new people. My intention was to be in a slightly uncomfortable situation for me and to acquire a new experience. And the side effect of it was that once I was there, I got to first of all eat lovely brunch stuff. And also just, it's really nice that people approached me, and I got to chat to lots of people who, multiple, say maybe about 10 people who just came from all walks of life and were very different to me. Some might have been a little bit more similar to me. The older, like in the past few years, I have really realized how much of a creative person I am, which I didn't, although I've been, I've made music and I've done all sorts and my brain is on fire pretty much all the time. I hadn't really processed it that deeply, as in being an actual creative person, until I had this meaningful relationship with a person who was a highly creative person. And it just very much made me realize that, damn, I really enjoy spending time with creative people who are good people. What else did I want to say about yesterday, actually? It was brilliant. It's brilliant how non-business orientated my brain is, because lots of people were literally trying to just sell their company and sell who they worked for, and come and stay at this place, and come and we're going to treat you nicely if you come and eat at our restaurant. And just, it was great. But I felt so different, because I wasn't trying to sell anything at all. I was like, this is me. And when I left, I realized I probably didn't really introduce myself. People just asked me, so where are you from? Like, what do you do? And I just talked about what I did, but I didn't. People were sharing out their LinkedIn profiles and like business cards and everything. And I'm just like, I haven't even told them my name. So live and learn. I think I'm very happy that I went in without any preparation, without any intention. And I think that was the best way to go for it. For like yesterday, it was perfect for me for that day. And I really do think that it deeply taught me something, and I would sort of be a little bit more prepared next time, maybe. Or just to share our contact details, really. Because sometimes there's just unexpected connections that you can form anywhere at all. So I wouldn't be the person who will shove a business card in your face, but maybe I should be sometimes in certain situations. Oh my God, there's also this girl. How old was she? I think she might have been, I might get this mixed up. I think she was 26, maybe 22. No, I think she's 26. And she'd started business when she was, I'm sorry, I'm getting this mixed up again, but like when she was a teenager, basically. And I just said, where did you get that drive from? Because she was so ambitious. It was unbelievable. I'm like, I'm not used to girls talking like that. And she was just so full on with, this is what I want to achieve. We've got a new shop where they're just networking, and I think she said she's had multiple businesses, and she's like so business orientated, just going, I'm going to spend my 20s making as much money and making a name for myself as I can. And she's basically this, like, I've never met such a boss bitch in my life ever. And I'm like, whoa, I felt a little bit intimidated. I know sometimes I feel like people feel a little bit intimidated by me, and I'm just thinking, this girl is on another level. And do you know what? Huge respect for her. She was just so rock and roll. It was unbelievable. And then, yeah, she's like, well, then in my 30s, I could focus on finding a man and starting a family. And I'm like, oh, wow, I've never had that many plans in my life. I just I'm very much go with the flow kind of a person. That's really worked well for me, and I'm very sort of intuitive, and I just like to chill out. And it was just very interesting to have a conversation with somebody like that. It was so eye-opening, and just the vastness of different personalities that there are out there is unbelievable. And I feel Newcastle as a city is so interesting, first of all, because people are so friendly, but also because there are just people from all walks of life. You literally get the roughest of the rough, but you also get like a decent amount of really well-educated, really well-off people. And then you got the people in the middle, like me, just plodding on. It's great. I'm doing okay. And you can just get to know, I feel like there's this deep sense of, I feel that in Newcastle, you can kind of be friends with different people, and that doesn't get judged. That's my own personal sense. I don't know how other people feel, but that's enough about that. Let's move on to today's educational point. Welcome to the educational corner of the thing. Today, what we're talking about, nutrition. We're talking about nutrition, the very, very basics. Basics as in the stuff that most people, if you're not into the fitness stuff, you haven't ever need to have really known. But I feel like it's so important to have a basic understanding of nutritional pillars. Nutrition. Let's just call it nutrition. Because it shocked me so much when I first had a client who was a doctor. And I assumed that she would at least have the same level of understanding of nutrition as I do as a personal trainer, who'd only been working for a couple of years as a personal trainer, if that, because it's completely core to human health. And to my horror, basically the doctors I've spoken to since as well, I've got quite a few friends who are doctors now, one just recently said they had one lecture on nutrition at university. Like 7 years of studying. So, well, this is for all of you who are not into fitness and macros. We're going to talk about macros. So all the foods. Well, not all. Okay. There are 3 macronutrients, which are protein, carbohydrate, and fat. So foods will consist of 1, 2, or all of these. And then there's also an additional, I'm not sure if it's officially called a macronutrient, but there is also something else that contains calories, which is alcohol. Alcohol is about 7 calories per gram of alcohol. That's pure ethanol, pure alcohol. Whereas our carbohydrates and proteins are about 4 calories per gram, and fats are 9 calories per gram of fat. So in that sense, when people say fat's got more calories than protein, well, no, it doesn't. A gram of fat has more calories than a gram of protein. But if you just imagine, if you have a deciliter, which is 100 milliliters of pure oil, that's going to be about 900 calories. Sorry, let's be precise, kilocalories. Whenever I say calories, I mean kilocalories. It's actually one kilocalorie is 1,000 calories. You don't need to know that. Let's just talk about, when I talk about calories, I mean kilocalories. That's the KCAL that you see at the back of packs. Like we talked about last time with the supermarket tour stuff. Supermarket psychology stuff. Anyway. And so, when you deeply understand that if you have 100 ml of oil versus, 100 gram, which is about 100 ml, 100 grams of oil versus 100 grams of vegetables, which is sort of carbohydrates, but very, very nutrient dense, as in if you have 100 grams of vegetables, that'll fill you up a lot more than 100 grams of oil will. And like I talked about last time, please do get well acquainted with the nutritional values at the back of food packs. So I just say really focus on the amount of protein. You want about this is an absolute minimum, 1 gram per body weight in kilograms every day. So if somebody weighs, say if they weigh 100 kilograms, they need 100 grams of protein as a very, very minimum. Most fitness professionals say that's too low. You should absolutely have much more than that. I think it's overcomplicating it. If you're just a normal person who just wants to get on and maybe improve your health a little bit, you don't need to be focusing on the kind of maximizing your absolute muscle growth when you hit a certain muscle group. No, just forget about it. Just try and make sure you have plenty of protein, because you will feel fullest for the longest. What else should we talk about? Okay, so sources. Protein, with this new client that I started with, again, stuff that I just thought that everyone knows. Sources of protein, animal products, any meat. And the leaner the meat, the less fat it's got, so the lower in calories it's going to be, which is nothing you need to obsess about. That's just how it goes. In terms of protein, you can have like dairy products, eggs, nuts, but they're also high in fats, and supplements. So whey protein, pea protein, whatever protein, protein shakes that you can make, which are quite flavoursome nowadays, many of them. And then people also talk about, say, brown rice or broccoli having high protein content. No, they don't. They really don't. You have to eat a lot of them to make them a high protein item. So also seafood. Seafood's super good for you. So just have some oily fish to help your health out. In terms of carbohydrates, most people will probably know. And okay, just at this point, carbohydrates are not the enemy at all. Carbohydrates, depends on your body, what your body deals with the best, but carbs, my body loves carbs so much. Carbohydrates are the primary source of fuel for your body and for your brain. So you kind of, let me think. It's the glucose, but also oh shit! I need to stop doing this. Is it recording? FFS, for fuck's sake, I've done it again. I didn't touch the computer screen for a while. It seems to be about 20 minutes, that sweet spot. Maybe it's actually just 15, but it cut off. It just gives me a screensaver and then the voice drops out, so soz about that. What was I saying? Yeah, carbohydrates, you just need them for energy. And if you have like really fast burning carbs, as in white pasta, white rice, the worst of them being sugar, that'll give you a huge insulin spike, which means that you're going to experience pretty much a high, but then you're also going to come crashing down. And they used to demonize fat. They have demonized carbohydrates. They've demonized salt, which is not necessarily bad for you at all. But I do think that the demon out of all foods is sugar. Sugar is pure carbohydrate. There's literally no nutritional value in sugar. So if I could give you one very simple advice on food item that you need to, or that you don't need to, but you should avoid, it's sugar. Sugar gets added to lots of things, and there's just, apart from your primitive brain really loving sugar because it's such like fast energy, which would have, evolutionarily speaking, been very beneficial, but is no longer so because we actually have access to food and you can walk to a supermarket instead of having to wait for stuff to be hunted out in the wild for you and then be brought home. So if you do one thing as a little test, sugar can be very, very addictive. It's like drugs. You know, you start having it and you just can't get enough of it and you'll go out for more. So just fucking empty out your cupboards of anything that contains added sugar, especially the high sugar items. I'm not meaning to demonize anything at all. I also have sugar every now and again. Recently, I drank a turmeric latte that just kind of tasted like shit. So I literally added 3 spoons of demerara, brown sugar into it just to make it tolerable because I hate wasting anything, and turmeric's really good for you. So I was like, I'm drinking this, but I had to add a bit of sugar. So on an occasion, it's absolutely fine. Treat yourself. Have some chocolate, have some donuts, have whatever. That's really, really high in sugar. Absolutely fine. Just don't have it as a bloody staple in your diet. And the easiest way to avoid it is just not having it anywhere visible, anywhere within your immediate surroundings. And for the people who do struggle to keep away from sugar, just throw it out, give it to friends, get it out of your house. Just had a chat with a client yesterday who has a pretty big sweet tooth. She said from last week's Eurovision party, they had a chunk of cake left over and she had to throw it in the bin. And that was the right thing for her to do because she said she knows that she won't be able. Because I said, you should have brought it here. I could have had a bit. I could have given some to my children. Fair enough. She said if she'd had to have waited for 24 hours, the cake would have been gone. So that was a really strong decision from her. Well done. Well done. What are we at? We've gone through carbohydrates. Oh yeah, the sources of carbohydrates: rice, pasta, potatoes. Basically like veg. Say fruit are high in carbohydrates because fruit are also, they're very sweet. They're the natural sweet. So if you need to replace sugar with anything, go for fruits. They're high in fructose, which is fruit sugar. Also, say in dairy products, you've got lactose, which is that kind of dairy sugar. So anything that ends in OSE is probably going to be sugar. As in if it's like a nutritional term. So obviously I'm not going to demonize fruit, which apparently can, according to some, is also a bad thing to have. Like, get a fucking grip. The more natural colours you've got in your diet and protein, and just don't worry, just live your life. Just live and chill. Okay, move on. Fats. I think probably one of the most surprising things that people find is just how much fat there is in nuts, nut butters. So just look at the food label, pay attention, because if you have 100 grams of that, it's going to add up to, for a female, say like half of your daily calorie intake very quickly. Or like daily intake that you should be having. So be mindful of that. Just learn to read nutrition labels, not obsessively, but just have a little look at them. Sometimes you'll be surprised. And like I said, 100 grams of oil is about 900 calories. 100 grams of Brazil nuts is about 700 calories, which is quite close to being pure fat. So again, if you have Brazil nuts, just know. And by the way, they are very healthy, very good for you. I'm absolutely not saying not to have nuts. Nuts are super, super good for you. But just, if you understand how calorie dense they are, then you will just be mindful of just having a few. Having a little handful. Not lots and lots and lots. And although if it fits your macros, which is something like a fitness thing that I used to love, then go for it. Do whatever you want. Do whatever makes you happy. That is the bottom line. Just something that I really wanted to, so you get a bit of an understanding, a deeper understanding about nutrition, is BMR, which stands for basal metabolic rate. And that is the amount of calories that your body burns in a comatose state. So it's not quite the same as what your body burns in rest, because if you're just sitting down, that's resting. But when you're sitting up, whatever, you'll burn way more calories than if you're actually just lying down. It's based on that lying down number when your body's doing absolutely nothing. You're sedated, you know, you're under general anesthesia or lying down in a coma state, that's your basal metabolic rate. And what affects your basal metabolic are your age, your height, your weight, body weight, your sex, whether you're female or male or whatever else, and your muscle mass. So males tend to have more muscle, lean muscle mass, which makes them automatically, even if they're the same height and the same weight as a female counterpart, they'll be burning more calories because they have more lean muscle mass. Also, the kind of very side point, which are not quite, well, stuff that also impacts your BMR, basal metabolic rate, are your genetics and menopause, for example. So again, unless you're really scientifically wired and you really want to find out lots more about these, the main thing to understand is your BMR is the number of calories your body burns at a resting state. My personal BMR is, I think, about 1,300 calories per day. You don't need to ever obsess about daily calories. It's much more important that you just average out your calories over the course of, say, a week, a month, even a bloody year. But BMR in itself, even if you know your number, it's a good starting point to sort of say that I would say you shouldn't really be having any fewer. Well, no. Let's not go there. Sorry, we can go there another time. I'm not going to talk about that now. Let's not overcomplicate things. But what is more important, not more important, but a more relevant number for your everyday life is your TDEE, total daily energy expenditure. And that gets calculated by multiplying your BMR with your activity level. So it's generally agreed that once you add any kind of movement, if you're a very sedentary person, you will multiply your BMR by 1.2. If you're a ridiculously active person, you're a postman who goes to gym, whatever, then you can add a multiplier of 1.9 to your basal metabolic rate. Things are different if you literally go and climb a mountain for like 24 hours, which by the way, I've done the National Three Peaks Challenge, which is the biggest mountain in Scotland, which was Ben Nevis, the tallest mountain in England, which was Scafell Pike, however you want to pronounce it, and then the tallest mountain in Wales, which was Snowdon, unless I'm getting that wrong. I think it was Snowdon. I'm fairly sure it was Snowdon. So I did those in like 23 hours and 5 minutes. Well done me. This is years ago, but it was I wouldn't do it again. But it was a great achievement. And
sorry, I don't understand.
Again, does that happen like every time when Siri starts shouting? That was really annoying. Does that all the time? How do I disable it? I don't want it. Don't want you. However, I do like my Siri because it's got a South African accent, which I very much enjoy. Okay, so TDEE is more relevant because the standard guidelines now, which are just a bit interesting because people come in such various shapes and forms and sizes and heights and blah blah blah, is that women should consume about 2,000 calories a day and men should consume about 2,005 calories a day. This highly depends on the individual. So what I would say is you can go to my website at www.ericahelsinki.com/calculators. Please don't... I haven't directed anyone to my website for years because I've hardly ever touch it and it's quite frankly put a bit shit, but you can find really useful calculators in there which will count your BMR and count your TDEE. So head over that way if you want to get them done. That would be really cool. It's completely free. Like just go and do your stuff, and hopefully at some point soon I will get a bit of help to sort out my website, but that's not really something that you need to concern yourself with. But it'll just give you a bit of an understanding of, you know, if you're eating a ready meal that's 1,500 calories and your body is only really burning 1,900 calories a day, then you'll just understand that, okay, interesting. I probably shouldn't eat 2 of these a day, or it might have some weight gaining consequences. Which again, I'm not judging anyone. I don't care what weight you are. I don't care. As long as you're happy. It's all that matters. There we go. Is that it? I think that's pretty... Oh, okay. One more thing I'd like to mention. If you do the calculation, is there's the description tends to be from sedentary to lightly active to moderately active to whatever. If you go to the gym, even 3 times a week, and you work out for 45 minutes at a time, even if you get a sweat on, you're not going to be moderately active. You're not going to be... The multipliers could be 1.55 or 1.725. That's going to be overshooting it. Just from experience, you'll need to be a lot more active than what you think to select a higher number. So basically, say my clients who say train twice a week and train hard get great results over the course of, when time goes on, their body composition really changes and everything. I'd still class them, most of them, as, especially women, as sedentary in that calculation. So the BMI only gets multiplied by 1.2. But again, if you just get in touch if you're really confused, and if you really genuinely like a bit of help. If I do have the time, I would love to help out anyone who has a genuine interest and concern maybe about their health and stuff. And if you want more understanding of this topic, you can obviously just go and do your Googling and stuff. But I do love talking about this stuff with people, so there's that. Let's move on to the final section of this podcast, which is questions from you, my friend. As I said in the beginning, please do send your questions to hello@ericahelsinger.com. I would love to get more questions, anything at all. Would love to answer them. Actually, I posted on Instagram actually recently. I think it was on Saturday. It was like an anonymous question thing where you could just drop your questions, and I've forgotten to check it. Oopsie doopsie. They're still saved in there, so that's fine. Okay, today's question is, what would you do if money wasn't an object? I'm guessing if money wasn't an obstacle. Does object mean the same? Money wasn't an obstacle. I'm going to change this question to obstacle, because that makes sense. That makes more sense to me, obstacle, because that's the question that's going to go to the site where you can also answer the same question, and I would love to hear your answers. What would you do if money wasn't an obstacle? I just chose this question before I started recording, so I haven't really thought it through. But my deep sense from the beginning of thinking about this question was that I wouldn't necessarily change anything. But of course, let's say, okay, if I had an unlimited amount of money, I would, this is so hard. Because it's for me, time is more valuable than money. So again, one of the first things that popped into my head is like, maybe I'd get a driving license, and I'm thinking, I wouldn't prioritize that time-wise right now. So actually, money's not an obstacle there, because I wouldn't do it anyway. If I didn't have kids, I would say I don't even know if I'd go traveling more. Maybe I'd go to a further out destinations. But again, I'm loving working so much at the moment that I can't really, because I don't feel like I can really leave for over a week at any one point at this moment in time. I don't want to. So, okay. And the first thing that I think I would really implement and do is hire a few people to join my team, which is currently a team of 1, me, to help me out to basically free up my time. So I'd have somebody, on and off, I've had a cleaner as well, but I'd have somebody clean the house. I'd probably have a housemaid. For them to do my laundry, do the dishes, or fill up the dishwasher, which I'm going to get. Or, let's think. Yeah, I would definitely not sacrifice times, like spending time with my children. So just hire a team so I could maybe develop my business further, and to not have all the pressure of that on my shoulders. If I had lots of money, I would, I've got an idea. I would absolutely host a couple of big barbecues this summer where I'd pay for everything, which I can't currently do. I would create an event. Yes, I'd create an event for my friends to have, just do something fun, and I'd pay for all of that. I would take my friends out for a meal in the House of Tide in Newcastle, which is a Michelin-starred restaurant, and I've never been, and I used to despise fine dining, and I would absolutely love to have that fine dining experience. But I couldn't, I'd have to do it on a few occasions with just a few friends at a time, because I also don't, you know, when you've got too big a group of people around you and then you just realise at the end of the day that you didn't really get a chance to speak to everyone, that's not great. So I just like to have things nice and intimate, to really have good chats and good, deep, meaningful connections with the people around me. So I'd spend money on wanting to feel closer to my friends. And I would, actually, I'll need to sit on this a little bit more. I'd buy a few bits of new equipment, as in an iMac. Maybe I'd buy that really expensive podcasting microphone, because I just think it looks cool and all the pros have got it. And I just don't think I want to splash out, is that £400 or £500 now? I don't need to splash out that money right now. That's what I'd get. But again, like, I'm not particularly materialistic, so I definitely spend money on something that's going to free up my time and more experiences and better connection with people. That's my answer right now. So I think that's that for today. I need to get ready to go out. Surprise, surprise. I've got a full day of stuff to do. I'm really excited. Bit of work. I was going to go to gymnastics tonight, which I'm gutted to miss because it's a massive soft play, like just a playground for adults. But it seems that I've not really focused on inviting people and stuff, and it seems that I'd probably be on my own there. So because I'll have my deep tissue therapy, whatever you want to call it, massagey thing today, I'm going to let my body recover and see a friend instead at night time when I finish work. But yeah, that's that. Go and answer this question. What you do without money being an obstacle. The link's going to be in the show notes. And please do follow or subscribe wherever you're listening. And as I do say, if you found any of this useful, interesting, whatever, then please share this episode with one friend. It would mean the world to me, my friend. Thank you in advance very much. And any questions you've got, please send them to hello@ericahelsinki.com. Find me on Instagram at erica_Helsinki. And I shall catch you next time. Look after yourself. Lots of love. Bye-bye for now. Let's go. That was nice. Na, 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 na.